Hi guys, this is part 1 of my ranking, which is what I'm calling what I'm going to be doing over the next few days, which is ranking all of the graphic novels and comic books that I have personally picked out myself. Now, I had to spread this over a few days because I have 65 comic books to cover. But whatever the ranking is on them, I do actually recommend all of them. No matter how low or how high they are, I do recommend reading them. Let's start with number 65. Batman King Tut's Tomb. This is one that was given to me by a friend of my dad's, but actually this is one of the slowest moving storylines that I've read. It's, to use a better word than boring, but it just didn't appeal to me like most Batman storylines do, most Batman comic books. But I should also warn that there may be a few spoilers while I'm doing these videos. But in it, Batman has to team up with the Riddler in order to try and stop, well, King Tut. But King Tut is also one of the most ridiculous Batman villains. That even counts ones such as the Condiment King, Calendar Man, and the Eraser. Although Calendar Man was pretty good in the Arkham games. Right, number 64, Doctor Strange and Doctor Doom, Triumph and Torment. This storyline basically brings in a load of different sorcerers and magicians from across the Marvel universe. Two of them happen to be Doctor Strange, Stephen Strange, and Doctor Doom, Victor Von Doom. It brings in a member of the Avengers and an enemy of the Fantastic Four. I have to admit, though, the artwork is quite different from what I've seen in comic books. It's quite interesting to see a different tone of work, but the storyline was a little confusing and I zoned in and out from it. Number 63 is Fantastic Four Volume 4. This is actually the first Fantastic Four comic I've ever gotten, but yeah, I know it's Volume 4, but it was given to me by my dad's friend again. But the reason this one is actually so low is that it struggled to basically know what it wanted to be. But the storyline was tightly clenched and pulled heavy on your love of the Human Torch. As it does say, here lies devoted member of the Fantastic Four. Now I have actually heard of Fantastic Four's Human Torch's demise, but never actually read it until now. But the entire story altogether is actually not so appealing to me, but I overall found it quite emotional, an emotional rollercoaster for me. Number 62, Chaos War Avengers. Another one from my dad's friend. This is actually my first Avengers storyline. But I have to admit, this storyline was quite confusing for me. Since I'm not actually familiar with the events that happened before this one. Oh yeah, we do see some iconic characters return, such as Vision, Captain Marvel, Yellow Jacket, but overall I found it quite, to use a better word than dull, but it basically held on to the usual cliches of an Avengers comic book. But I mean, I am an enormous fan of the Avengers. I just watched Endgame, actually, for the second time. But I have to say it was not my favorite. I'm talking about the comic book, not Endgame. I absolutely loved it. Anyway, number 61. The Defenders, Diamonds Are Forever. The Defenders Netflix series didn't do so well, but I did actually like seeing all the characters cross paths, since I am a big fan of a crossover storyline, especially when Daredevil is involved. He's my favourite. My favourite Defender, but either way, this basically feels like it was a cancelled episode from the series. But I would have actually liked to see this this storyline in the series. I mean, it holds very tightly on the Defenders as a team and as individuals. I mean, it follows on as Luke Cage and Jessica Jones as an item, but it also introduces some more familiar characters, like Punisher, Diamondback, Black Cat as well, even the Kingpin too. Alright, number 60 is the DC Universe Rebirth Batwoman, Volume 1, The Many Arms of Death. Batwoman has remained a fairly new member of the Bat family, but a complete silhouette badass in her own right, as she is getting her own series this year, and is being portrayed by the incredibly hot Ruby Rose. And I have very high hopes that she's going to do well as Batwoman. I mean, she already kicked ass in the Elseworlds crossover back with Arrow, Flash, and Supergirl, but this storyline was quite slow moving, a bit confusing, but it did have a good amount of action, and there was a bit of romance in there as well. But I'm not much of a romance novelist person. But I am a bit of a romantic. So that's my girlfriend. But I'm a Batwoman fan, but this sort of storyline, I still recommend it, but it moved fairly slow for me. Plus, at the end, there was, I don't know, it was like some sort of time jump. But I'm not entirely sure what it was, in fairness, but I do still recommend it. Each of these that I have done, I do recommend all of them. Each one, the Batwoman, Defenders, Avengers, Fantastic Four, Doctor Strange, and the Batman. I recommend all of them, no matter how low on the list they are. Alright guys, thanks for watching part 1. I will give you part 2 tomorrow, and I will cover more than 6 this time. Alright, see you guys.